Well, folks, we're back with the hurry up. This is Adam, your boy, Don Juan Sports. Just we're gonna go into the NFL right now and the lockout and a few of the things that have been said about certain players who have been tweeting. As you can see behind me. You can see where my loyalties lie, but that's just what it is. But I do know the game, so let's get started. Let's start with the tweeting before we get into the actual lockout because that's the boring end of it. Let's get into the tweeting. People need to stop tweeting. The reason is because just like with text messaging and emails and things like that, we don't know the context of which the words were tweeted in. If the person was angry, if they're sarcastic, if they were joking, we don't know. Of course, then they got to retweet. I was joking. Reggie Bush. The tweets are all out there. We all already know. What I'm trying to say is these people just need to stop doing it. Period. Stop tweeting. You won't get in trouble. Stop saying dumb stuff. Stop putting your foot in your mouth. You won't be in trouble. Reggie Bush, whether or not he said what he said about the lockout was joking or not, it's kind of, you shouldn't say it because A, the fans are going to criticize you no matter what you do. B, this is a lockout. We the fans don't want to know what you're not doing when we see a lot of other teams doing what it is that they're doing, such as organized team activities and things like that. Obviously, you can't have OTAs because of the lockout, but teams are getting together and putting some activities together. Now, as far as like Rashad Mendenhall, come on now, man, have some common sense. A lot of these guys are not that well educated, and so they don't realize that even though it is a tweet, it is broadcast live all over the world, so anybody can find it out. So I mean, you got to just be smart with it, and a lot of it has to do with. I feel a lot of it has to do with a lockout. Here's why: a lockout means you can't have contact with the team, right? So if you can't have contact with the team, they don't have the player personnel guys to call you up and say, hey, don't do this. Hey, you need to make this appearance. Hey, watch what you're saying. They don't have that. It's basically free reign. It's basically if the parents have left and you let the kids run the house. Sometimes stuff is going to happen. Sometimes stuff is going to happen you don't like. Players getting arrested, players tweeting, running their mouth. I mean, it happens. This is the day that we live in. Of course, the NFL has done this to themselves because they've locked out their players as well as their fans, as well as everything that's going on. Over what? Billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. We're not talking about, 1,000 here, 1,000 there, 100,000 there. We're talking about billionaires versus millionaires. This isn't fun, folks. This isn't fun. When there are people out there struggling, trying to make ends meet, to make a living, we got billionaires fighting over money. And a couple $1 billion off the top. That's all we're talking about. We're not talking about crazy stuff. Now, we're getting into the lockout right now. Let me tell you, the lockout this has been a different season. If you are a huge football fanatic like me or many of the fans out there, you are taking this seriously because you live and die and breathe your team. Any team in any sport. If you're a Yankee fan of baseball, Boston fan, whatever, hockey fan, whatever team you live and die with, you don't want to see a lockout because the off season is the fun time. It's the optimist time. Why? Because you're optimistic about what could go on next season. You have no idea what personnel moves are going to be made, how the team is doing, who's recovering from what injury. All these storylines are coming together, and also the slate is wiped clean. It's the only time in real life that you can really wipe the slate clean and start over again, start over fresh, have that renewed sense of hope. Because if you look at the NFL, parity is really winning in the NFL. So for teams that are young and up and coming, like the Lions, the Texans, the teams that have improved from one season to the other, are not getting that chance right now to get there because of this lockout. And it's unfortunate for them. As well as teams who have new coaching staffs, like the Cowboys have a new coordinator. Now, I'm not saying it's going to affect the Cowboys in any way. Of course, they have, a lot of their teammates going together and practicing, over 40 guys or something like that. But will it affect them? I mean, offensively you can do your stuff. Defensively, it's kind of hard because you can't really have contact. You can't really have contact with your defensive coordinator. Um, you know, Rob Ryan. So and you know it affects teams like the Texans who just drafted all these players and just got a new defensive coordinator because you can't give them the playbooks because of this lockout. Now when they've given it to the Eighth Circuit Court, they haven't made the decision yet. We have no idea what's going to happen. You know they're going into federal mediation sessions very soon, so it's not like you know they're not trying. But realistically, it's about egos. And whoever side gets the upper hand, that's the side that's going to cave. For example, if the lockout is lifted by the Eighth Circuit Court, the owners will scramble to make things right and put together some type of free agency period so they can also have a season. Um, these people are destined to lose a lot of money if they lock out the whole season. A lot of money. Not to mention the Super Bowl and all the other endorsements and sponsors and things like that that come with the NFL season. I'm just saying, imagine you sit down on Sunday and you have to watch the UFL or some other Bush League type of organization that's out there. I mean, college football is great, and they got a lot of scandals going on with them as well. But that's on Saturday. That's on Saturday and Thursday and whatever other day of the week that college football comes on. But that's not the NFL. And what it means to certain cities in the NFL and certain fan bases in the NFL, I mean, college has a great following, a great fan base, a great loyalty, but it's not the same because you don't get the recognition always the same way because there's a lot of colleges out there. A lot of the powerhouses get to be powerhouses for certain reasons. But the NFL, it's like, man, if you're a Detroit Lion fan, you just drafted Nick Fairley out of Auburn, and you got Ndamukong Suh. You know what I mean? You're gonna pair those two guys up on that defensive line. You're looking at a lot of havoc for the quarterbacks and running backs this season. But if you don't have the chance to get better, such as addressing the cornerback situation for them and the defensive backs, right now you're at a stalemate. You're not going anywhere. You're just stuck there in the mud. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel bad for a lot of those, like I said, the up and coming teams in the NFL. A lot of the teams that have their same coaching staff, it doesn't really matter because you're running the same plays anyways. Such as teams like the Jets, the Giants, the Eagles, things like that. I mean, the Eagles do have a new defense coordinator, but I'm talking about on offense, things like that. Um, it really hurts that. As far as continuity it goes, these guys are trained professionals. They would be getting paid millions of dollars if there wasn't a lockout. Right now, no one's getting paid any money. But the point is, they're professionals. They got here for a reason. They're going to be prepared when there is a season. So look for that to happen. As far as what's going on, let me catch you up to date. Let me catch you up to speed. They have federal mediated talks, which hopefully will be happening soon, and maybe they'll get a deal done. They're still waiting for the Eighth Circuit Court, which is the key in these negotiations. If the Eighth Circuit rules to lift the lockout, and Judge Nelson did, they will probably go back to the 2010 rules in free agency, which we can get into the mumbo jumbo, but just let's say there'll be no salary cap in 11 and 2011 if they go back to the 2010 rules. Now they could opt to go back to 2008, 2009, and do free agency like that, but don't look for anything to happen before usually June, and if nothing happens by about mid-June to late June, start to panic because that eliminates the free agent period to about a month because training camps start late July, so you're gonna have to push everything back. Preseason games probably will miss, and I'm sure you're all crying over preseason games that are lost. I'm not, but if you are a diehard fan like me, sometimes this is a chance to get to explore some certain type of players coming out. Undrafted free agents to make your team, make your ball club better. This is a chance to get the young guys get a chance to play, get some game experience. You get to see some of the players you can develop down the road. That's what's good about the preseason. Other than that, it really is a waste if you're trying to see starters. It's just for fun and for money. But you lose a lot of that. You lose season games it's going to be tough to really get into a season that's shortened because it's not fair to certain teams because a lot of teams do have injuries. So what that allows them to do is it allows them to get back into certain games. You know, if you're an 8-8, like if you're a 7-9 team, unfortunately they made the playoffs last year because they won the division. You know, it'll shake everything up. Um, so we'll see what happens. I hope they have a full season. I'm thinking they'll have a full season. They'll be dumb not to have a full season, and it should be good. And I want you to look out for my NFL shows because they're gonna be great. We're gonna have analysis, probably some special guests coming on. Right now, I'm just updating you. The NFL draft was entertaining. It probably was the best thing if you're a football fan to have because it is the NFL draft. So, and it's the only it's the only time your team can actually add players to their team per se because of this lockout. So I can't sign anyone. But this is Adam from the Hurry Up. It's been fun chatting with you. We're gonna get back to the NFL. We're gonna talk a little bit about all the sports, get the up-to-date topics, what's going on, give you a little bit of me, personality, the face of the franchise. You know, Stevie franchise. I'm Adam franchise. I'm the game. It is what it is. I know I'm just teasing right now, but hope you enjoyed the show. We're gonna hit you up in a couple days with some new stuff. Get into the Eastern Conference playoffs. Get into some hockey, some baseball, some golf, some of those things like that. Talk about the big topics, the trending topics that are going on. Holla at your boy. I'll be back. See you soon. Enjoy. Peace.